Warm up their tires.
Yeah. Or like most of the people I see on the highway driving a motorcycle.
And yeah.
Well, that was a good podcast. All right. Good night.
Oh, I can no longer read. Hello, folks.
Hi, Chris of the Northwest.
Well, hello, Land Monkey of the very more Northwest.
And look, we have Wits End, also of the Northwest.
We have a lot of Northwesterners on this podcast about the Northwest.
That's
Sounds like
amazing.
a good theme to stick with.
I know. Okay. Hey.
Is it a theme or is it just the me?
Oh.
That too.
How about if we start this? I'm going to kick it off. I do the opening. I think Land Monkey, you do the closing.
Me or okay, well,
and Wits End does everything in the middle.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
I got a nap tonight.
No pressure.
Here we go. Well, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. Did you know? And I bet you did. This is the only podcast dedicated to geocaching in the Great Pacific Northwest. We are going to talk about caches and cachers unique to this little corner of the country. So while you're binge watching Grey's Anatomy, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
That's right. But we can't do that without our number crunching monkey. Some say the metric system had to add another unit of measure to count his cache finds. And others say he's apologized to a cache for not finding it sooner. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Yeah, you guys. All right. Funny stuff. All right. Well, you know what, folks? I am just really glad to be here, but even more so, I am glad to have my friend Wits End back with us this weekend.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming back and joining us.
It feels so complete with you here.
It just wasn't the same last week.
We have a full set.
Oh, wait.
We're not playing with a full deck. But
no, not at all.
The collection is complete. We mentioned his name, and we seem to still be broadcasting on the internet. Last week, we mentioned that name, and everything went kaput.
Kaput. Das ist kaput, yeah?
Yeah.
Shall we not do that?
I was on an airplane at the time, so I could not have interfered if I'd wanted to. But
I know you can buy internet on a plane, so there's no excuse there.
Not on my budget.
There you go. Hey, you know what? While we're talking about all kinds of other stuff, let's also make sure we make a little bit of time to thank our faithful Denali level supporter, worldcaching.com. And folks, if you want to know more about supporting this amazing podcast, please click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website. And, we just really appreciate that. But did you want to jump in there, Chris, or is that?
No, I was just agreeing with a finger point.
All right.
Right over there is where you'd click. If you're listening live, just click there.
Not there. Oh my goodness, you people don't listen. All right.
There.
All right. There. That's right. In 3D. All right. Now, folks, for tonight's show, we are going to talk about a recent hashtag geocache road trip that the monkeys took. But before we do that, we want to remind you that Caching the Northwest has something a little special for you. We have a badge to spruce up your geocaching.com profile page.
Badges?
We need these stinking badges.
That's right. So I'll tell you what, submit a glow, a geocaching log of the week, and you can have your very own glow badge.
That's right. Whether you wrote it or read it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply make geocaching better. Send an email to feedback@cachingnw.com. you can always call in to 253-693-TFTC or use that wonderful voicemail tool right there on the website and show us how you glow.
You know what else makes geocaching better?
Do tell.
Great cachers who write great logs.
Yes. It's not just about the logs. It's about the cachers and the experiences they have. That's what we really want to hear about, is your experience.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This week's glow is submitted by Dune Buddy.
Ooh.
He went to the necropolis of Britannia Manor 3. That's GC2 Bravo. I want to go beta. Bravo 034.
Do you love to count?
I do. Not as much as the Count loves to count.
Ooh.
Okay. Dune Buddy says, I've heard about this cache on several geocaching podcasts. You can add this one now. I listened to and had it on my must-do list. When the chance to stop in Austin on a road trip from New Orleans to Denver presented itself, I jumped at the chance to make this find. Unfortunately, the time constraint of a long road trip did not allow us to do the entire puzzle, which can take several hours. Fortunately, the CO recognized that many travelers, such as us, do not have time to do the entire puzzle and has provided an alternative to figure out the code at the cache site. With this info in hand, we went to the final and we made our way to the cache. The necropolis did not disappoint. The props at the final are so real that one wonders if they really are props. Don't forget to open the casket and look into the crypts. But don't do it at night unless you want to spend a night filled with nightmares.
Ooh.
After collecting the required info, we made our way to the container, punched in the code, and entered the inner sanctum. It is a treasure trove of spare parts related to the cache and, of course, the logbook. As the description states, do not forget to bring your quarters, for if you do, you will come up shortchanged. I had to laugh because I thought it needed one there. All in all, it's one of the best caches I have visited. Next on the list are the other two caches hidden by Lord British, International Space Station and the Rainbow Hydrothermal Vents. I will be launching a Kickstarter campaign to pay for these trips in the near future.
Good luck with that Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah, that is an incredible geocache. I had the honor to do it, and I went to all the stops just for the experience, and it takes nearly all day.
Wow.
You're driving all around the city of Austin. You start out in a couple of cemeteries looking at plots and what have you. And some of the clues, I thought I was a pretty good geocacher. Some of the clues are really hard to figure out. So luckily I had a previous finder there with me who said, no, not that one. Oh, okay, let's try again.
Thank you for playing. There's nice parting gifts for you at the door.
Yes.
There you go.
No, it was just the door.
Oh, okay.
That's funny. Hey, well, you know what? That was a great example of a glow log, and that means that Dune Buddy will definitely have a link to upload to his geocaching.com profile, so you can have a glow badge now. And, we also want to encourage you guys to contact us if there's a milestone cache find that you're celebrating or any other kind of interesting or exciting event going on in your geocaching. Hey, why not call it in to 253-693-TFTC and share it with the entirety of the NorthWest geocaching community who tune into this podcast. And you know what? I would say do it exactly like IHAM did. We've got some milestone audio here from IHAM.
So today we've got grasshoppers from Pokemon.
Wrong one.
Close.
NorthWest Crew. This is IHAM with a report of a milestone, Easter, and just found cache number 2100. So moving on up the way here. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Awesome. Well, I know IHAM had to drop off the live stream. So unfortunately, he wasn't able to hold out long enough to hear us share that.
He
But,
didn't get to hear his own voice.
Yeah, he'll
but
catch
he
up.
will, standing at the bus stop bobbing his head.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah,
so
it was great. Short and sweet. That's all it has to be. It doesn't have to be real complicated. So thanks, IHAM, for sending that in. We appreciate it.
2,100. That's quite a milestone.
That is significant.
Congrats, IHAM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like equal to the number of Earth cache finds the land monkeys have.
There may be a little hyperbole involved. There, but you know what? Numbers aside, everybody has different caching time available to them and
Absolutely.
travel and whatever else. And you know what? As long as you're getting out there and enjoying it, that's really the whole point. So hopefully 2,100 fun experiences there.
That's right. That's right. Is hyperbole a type of rock formation?
No, it's a very excited bully.
Oh, okay.
Is it used to find an Earth cache anywhere?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's all that matters.
You excite the bullies. And it's quite nice.
All right. Well, in other news,
Granite.
this comes to us from geocaching.com/blog 2017/04/test-a-new-logging-experience-is-coming-2-geocaching.com/
Oh, that's an easy to remember URL.
Yeah, just
Or you
rolls off the tongue.
Could just Google, geocaching new logging experience. But,
That would be
however-
probably easier, but when have I ever taken the easy road? I just wanted to make sure to read it out there for those people that are driving down the highway so they can empathically send it to their device because their hands won't leave the steering wheel. We know that. Don't you dare take your hands off the wheel.
No, I mean, you could use the voice assistant on your phone. and
Yes.
Go search the internet for, and
Yeah.
it will do it for you.
Okay. So there's a blog post on the geocaching.com blog from April 2017. Why? That's this month. At least it is for a couple more days. About a new logging experience. It says something about, we know that change has been prevalent at HQ lately. Ape cache log, things like that. And they're in their 17th year. How about that? That's impressive.
Mhm.
There are growing pains that if, any game that's nearly 2 decades old, well, you're going to get growing pains. And in this case, they said it's namely old code. A lot of the website is unable to support the features that today's geocachers want, need, and, demand. Like adding favorite points, adding photos to drafts, and things like that. So they've built a new logging page that's allowed them to incorporate new robust features, respond more quickly to your feedback, and just add all kinds of new stuff. Respond to problems, localize content. Now, you may hear all this at home or on the freeway or lying in the tanning bed or wherever you happen to be hearing my pathetic little voice, and you may be wondering when is the new logging page going live?
When?
See, I knew
want
you
to
were
know
wondering.
when. I'm wondering
Now,
as I wonder.
they're introducing the new logging page through drafts on the web. Start a draft on mobile, finish it on geocaching.com website, and try out the new page.
Okay.
Yeah, the improved functionality with photos and favorite points. Players are going to be unable to opt out of the new logging page when completing a draft. But, growing pains, like they said. A feedback banner is available for any questions or suggestions that you may have.
Okay, so if I understand this correctly, if you want to try out the new logging page on geocaching.com, the only way you can access it is by using the Geocachinger app, starting a draft, not finishing that or not submitting that log, and then going to the geocaching.com website.
That's kind of the way I read it.
Bingo.
Yeah. Bingo, bango, bongo, and Irving.
Irving.
Yes. And Limax says he's lying in a tanning bed while driving on the freeway. So I'm impressed.
Ooh. And Bryling says the new logging page is live now or live now.
Ooh. Live is just evil backwards.
There you go.
According to the blog post, it will be available, quote unquote, soon,
which is apparently now.
which apparently
According
now,
to
according
Riley, the
according
new
to
logging
Riley.
page is live, even if you're not submitting drafts.
There you go.
Now you're still going to have the option of returning to the old logging page when creating a new log, but you're encouraged to try out that new page and provide some feedback.
Okay.
Do you know what's new about it? Do you want to know? Do you?
Sure, why not?
Ooh, Mr.
Okay.
Carter.
Okay, so there is new look, improved usability. All those things are awesome. Drafts created on the geocaching app, like we mentioned, with photos and favorite points, can now be completed on the web. That's awesome. Kind of consistent between mobile application and website. You can also add or remove a photo while composing your log on geocaching.com. And lastly, they say they added an improved way to report a problem, like a needs maintenance or needs archived. Not like anybody would ever do a needs archived party online. We would never condone something like that.
I think they should just take away that option altogether.
Yes, absolutely. But you can do that while you're logging a cache. There's no need to write two separate logs now. You can simply select the quote unquote report a problem icon while you're logging the cache. Choose the problem, like say wet logbook, like that would ever happen in the Northwest, and then continue composing your log as normal.
Can you just set that as a default?
I think you have to, because with the rain we've had this particular winter, I'm going to go out on a limb and say nearly every log sheet in the Northwest is wet.
I got to tell you, I've found quite a few caches in the Northwest already this year, and I'm going to tell you at least 85% of them had a wet logbook. So,
which it's actually surprising because it's only rained twice this year. Once for 45 days and once for 35 days, but that's it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So all that's left now for you to do, go geocaching.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Start a draft in the
Northwest?
field. Yeah, absolutely. That's the best place to go geocaching. Now, when you're out caching in the Northwest, start a draft in the field, and then come back to geocaching.com website and finish your log. Earn a smiley through the new logging page.
Hey, so on the topic of the new logging page and quote unquote what's next, here's something that I'm just going to throw this out here and say,
Throw it.
I'm wondering if this is going to be a. You ready?
Okay.
That's right. I'm wondering if this is going to be a what's next. So they have added the new functionality for Garmin devices, where you can now use lists and send them directly to a Garmin GPSR, right? So that's there. What I'm wondering is if they're now going to insert the ability that you can use GSAC for right now, of just downloading all your finds directly off your Garmin device into the website instead of having to go via GSAC. I'm wondering if, because they've kind of got the One Direction going now.
Yeah.
One Direction, haha, with Garmin. And since they're doing a lot of development with that, I'm wondering if it's going to be bi-directional. That's my guess.
Hmm.
You know what we should do? We should have Ben and Chris on the show, and we'll ask them that.
Oh,
That's a
that would
great
be
idea.
really good. When could we do that?
How about May 11th?
Okay, sold.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm free.
I'm gonna do this the same way Chris plans a hike.
Yeah, okay. That sounds good. Then I can talk to Ben. I went and did some of his geocaches this weekend.
Did you?
I've told him he needs help. We have some overwhelming responses about using this brand new logging system.
Yeah, I'm overwhelmed.
I know. For instance, Broncos fan for life in the chat says, I've used the new logging. It's okay. But wait.
Is there
Wet
more?
Coaster says, I've used the draft log on the weekend. It worked pretty well. I mean, really, what more can you ask for?
There's times that if I could achieve okay and pretty well, I feel like I've accomplished the world. Really.
It's good to set your goals manageable.
Yeah. So get out and try that new feature. There's a forum thread and feedback available on that. I think it's great that they're updating code and trying new things and improving the game for all of us.
Right on.
Wet
So-
Coaster, how about somebody from Garmin as well on the show?
Hmm.
I'm working to get somebody from Garmin on this show. Probably won't be at the same time as Geocaching HQ, but look for it shortly.
Bonus
Or
points for
soon.
you. Bonus points for you if you can get somebody from Mapopolis.
Yes,
So
definitely.
the challenge is set, is it?
Yes.
All right.
Since the company's out of business.
Well,
Still one of my favorite
yeah,
mapping applications ever.
We didn't say the challenge was going to be easy.
That's why it's a
Hey,
challenge.
So Brylang in the chat also said, hey, Landmonkey, you can already upload your finds into geocaching.com. You've been able to for years and years. And you're fair enough. I guess what I was getting at is in the same way that you can with GSAC, where you can have templates set and, you know, and such. So I don't think you can do that, but I may be mistaken, and I would love to learn how to do that. Although I do find using GSAC quite straightforward and simple.
That's true.
Second, photos.
Wet Coaster says we strive to achieve a minimum standard.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And for new listeners unfamiliar with GSAC, it stands, of course, for Gunny Sack, where the land monkeys use to win three-legged races all over the world.
There you go. Wild geocaching.
No, that's not true. Anyway,
I think it might be. Oh, no, that's another one of the GSAC macro or GSAC
oh, okay.
definitions.
Geocaching Swiss Army knife, if anybody truly is new and unfamiliar with that.
There you go.
Wet Coaster wants to share with us. He's such a nice person. He
Yes.
says, by the way, he had fined 1,600
Ooh.
in, it's SOOKE. That could be souk. That could be souke. That could be so okay.
I like that one best.
Okay. It depends what nationality that word comes from. But I think it's going to turn out just so okay.
Yeah. Souk.
Souk.
So
So
that Souk is to the west of Victoria on Vancouver Island.
keep shouting at Land Monkey.
Yeah, caw, suki, 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 suki. Oh, wait, that's different.
I thought we determined that caw suki suki does not work.
Oh, yeah, we did okay.
Hey,
What?
but there's more.
Really?
We got a lot of feedback for this episode.
But
I know.
Awesome.
Now we have feedback from Limax. Limax listens to our previous shows.
in Souk?
It could be. It could be just so okay. Let's see if I can play this first time. Because, that's always a challenge. Here we go.
Hello, Caching in the Northwest crew. This is IHAM with a
No, I can't.
Nope, you can't.
Good day, gentlemen. This is Limax, listening to the episode on geocaching etiquette, and something you said about, the needs maintenance, the temporary disablement of caches reminded me of something. There is a cache that's actually physically in Payette Lake in Idaho, near where our family cabin used to be, that I am pretty sure the cache owner disables during the winter months. I think he actually physically goes out and removes the cache from the water every fall and then places it back early in the summer for people to find again at that point. And I was just kind of wondering about your opinion on someone having a cache of that nature. I mean, Payette Lake does have a tendency to sometimes freeze over in the winter. It is up at 5,000 feet. So it makes sense to me that he would disable it for those months that, of course, it will not be available, because I'm not sure if anybody would really want to go into the water in the winter, although there are those people. Anyway, just thought I would weigh in on that. Thanks. Bye.
Well, there you have it. So I
Yes.
think we ought to take a moment and weigh in.
Okay.
What do you think about disabling geocaches that are, difficult or if not impossible to find at regular times of the year?
Well,
Be it
first, for the
winter-
record, I do not want to go in the water during the winter, so I'm just going to go on the record for that.
Southern California is no problem.
Well, I don't know.
It's not great.
No.
Australia during our winter.
Okay.
So here's my thought on it. If it's a safety issue, then I think it's a responsible thing to do. So
Yeah.
we had a geocache that was on an island out here that you would have to, the island had trails on it and you could hike across to the far side of the island where the cache was. But in order to get to the cache, once you were on the island, you would have to walk along a beach, and that beach would flood out in the spring during the thaw. And so we would disable that cache during the flood season just because we felt it was a safety issue and didn't want to encourage anybody to try and get to that cache. So I would say if it's a safety concern, then that's being responsible cache owner. And I mean, the reality is, even if the cache is disabled, you can still find it and you can still log it. So you're not preventing anybody from playing the game. What you're doing is you're implementing a level of responsible safety for people who maybe are visiting and don't know the area and don't know the dangers of the area.
See what you're saying?
Well, it sounded more like the cache was actually physically removed, which is more than just
I missed that part.
disabling it online. This is physically removing it. But
I mean, we have caches, well, here in the Northwest. That's the we, right?
Yeah.
There are many roads around mountains that are closed in the winter. I mean, they decide at this point we are closing the roads. Those caches are no longer accessible. Do they need to be disabled? You could, if you wanted to, find a parking spot and cross-country ski or snowshoe to them.
Yeah.
There's one either on Mount St. Helens or Mount Baker that get right up near the top that gets disabled in the wintertime because the road is closed. I'm trying to remember which mountain that was.
Leg disabled.
Yes, it's leg disabled. What kind of disabled is it? So it's one thing to disable the cache. I don't know if I would go to the trouble of actually physically removing the cache seasonally. That seems a little excessive to me. But if it's your geocache, I suppose you can do whatever you want.
The Q&A, no, the chat.
It's hard, right?
Yeah. Sorry. Let me catch up to 2017. The chat says they have a seasonal access attribute for caches. I think it's fine to disable when not available.
Yeah.
That was from Start Cacher, if I didn't mention that. Now, Dora Moore says, Nankikoro and I have disabled one of ours when it was frozen into place. It happens for a couple of weeks a year.
Yeah. I think that's fine. That's being responsible.
Yeah. To which GeoNav Pro says, carry an ice pick like I did every day last winter.
But does not, as B Pendragon contributes, isn't that what the cache that will not be named does?
It may be disabled. I know simply because the roads are closed. You can't drive up there.
Yeah.
So I think when the roads are closed, many cache owners disable their caches on the other side of that closure, wherever.
Okay. That's super responsible. I think that's great. Now, granted, most people won't do that. They don't. Yeah, Briling's just jumping in there on the same thing. Some get disabled, most don't. And you know what? So be it. You're responsible as a geocacher to figure it out, right? To make the determination of, can I safely get to this cache or not? That's part of the game, is to take that level of personal responsibility when you go geocaching. So I think it's great if geocachers can and choose to do that, but I don't think it's mandatory.
Limax adds more to his story. He says, this cache, you really need scuba gear or really good lungs to get to. I'm going to need to look to see if it gets removed. I did the Tri-Cities cache machine many years ago, and a responsible cache owner had just gone over in a boat, removed the cache from an island because, it was getting towards winter and he didn't want people going out there in their boats, possibly damaging their boats on ice in the river.
Hmm.
So, and he brought it back and he goes, "Hey, were you guys looking for this cache?"
Nice.
So I got to sign a cache without going in a boat, but I don't know. Anyway, that's one of those things that, as a responsible cache owner, that's something you need to decide.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can just mandate it for you, whichever way you prefer.
All right. Well, hey, speaking of responsible cache owners and responsible geocache podcasters, why don't we keep the show moving and talk about another news story?
Oh, let's do that.
I found this one. Now, it's from Texas. It has nothing to do with the Northwest, but I thought it was cute.
Is it the Northwest of Texas?
No. It's
Hmm.
Corpus Christi, which I want to say is the southeast of Texas. It's along the coast, right?
Yeah, and if the URL, if you copied and pasted accurately, they've listed it as geocaching, but
Well, listen. They did that on purpose.
Oh, okay.
Police are always out keeping our roads safe with patrols and radar guns, but now they've taken to utilizing social media in a unique way. CCPD, that's the Corpus Christi Police Department,
Yes.
has dubbed its. No, it does not. Let me just specify that right now. Has dubbed its speeding and aggressive driving crackdowns as geocaching.
Okay.
It's a play on the popular social media-based scavenger hunt known as geocaching.
How does it work?
Well, let me tell you how it works. The police
do.
department, this police department version sends out longitude and latitude coordinates to tell you where the police will be to catch speeding and aggressive drivers. The department says they'll continue to look for ways to alert the public to their traffic enforcement operations. So they're going to tell you where they are.
Okay.
But, if you, I think it's interesting. If you can't figure out longitude and latitude, you may get a ticket.
So if you can figure out longitude and latitude, you can probably get away with speeding and aggressive driving in Corpus Christi.
Everywhere else but where they are.
Maybe.
And we don't say you should do that. But anyway,
We do
Right.
not condone such behavior.
Wits End, just like you, I saw the link and go, great, another misspelling of geocaching. I'm not, and I look at it and go, okay, this is cute.
That is cute. Yeah.
Geocaching. They
Well
did
done.
that on purpose.
There
So-
you go.
Anyway, I just had to throw that out there.
Well, thank you for throwing that out there. And speaking of other things that have been done on purpose, worldcaching.com has intentionally put together a CETO pack for the April CETO contest. That's right. For every CETO event you participate in, because, we're expecting there's going to be more than one,
Yes.
you will get an entry to the contest. And even if you only get to one CETO event, still send us your attended log for the event during April 2017. The more events you attend and log, the more entries you get to the contest. So submit your entry by emailing feedback@cachingnw.com and use the subject CETO, CITO. To be eligible, your entry must be in by midnight, May 10th, 2017. That would be the night before Ben and Chris on the show.
Ooh. I have to admit something, guys.
Please do.
Saturday was Earth Day. You probably recognize this.
Yeah. I think I know what you're going to share.
So many CETO events out and about on Earth Day. So I thought I would go to one. And
How'd that
pull
work
up. I pull up to the park and there's just one car there. Well, that's unusual. And I look and wait. There's somebody sitting in the car. I'll wait for them to get out. And they don't. And they don't. Finally, they do. And didn't recognize them. I thought, this doesn't feel right. And I look at the listing again. Guess what?
What?
It's for this upcoming Saturday. I was there a week early.
Hey.
And what's most ironic, it's just like the glow that we read last week, where somebody went to an event, this time a month early. I was just a week early. But
There you go.
Okay.
So at least the bar was set.
the bar was set. Yeah. There you go. I went out to CETO. I could have CETO'd by myself.
You could have. Did you anyway while you were there?
Not a chance.
So have you already logged your attended for that event then?
I should have.
I was there. I don't know if everybody else was.
there was a lunch planned, so I, made an effort and stopped and got cookies. I'll have to get more cookies for next week.
And yes, Broncos fan for life. It was Flaming Geyser. So
yes, it was Flaming Geyser. Yeah. That's this coming Saturday, by the way. I know right where it is. I've gone out there. I wanted to be the responsible cacher.
He just did like the advanced recon mission.
Right.
That's all.
Right. It's going to be an easy CTO. I'm pretty sure. So there you have it.
I still want to check out that site.
He spread some trash just so the people that attend the event will have something to do.
To make sure they're not bored. That's so considerate.
No, he didn't do that. I'm kidding. It's okay.
Oh, wait. I wasn't supposed to.
Oh, did you? Okay. I don't know.
All right. Well, what else is on the radar here, guys?
Well, if you're looking for a summer camp in Seattle, Wits End, do you have any idea what we could do?
Well, if you are looking for that Seattle summer camp, and really, who wouldn't be? An experiential educator, that just rolls off the tongue, is running an awesome week-long day camp this very summer for middle schoolers. And there is still space available. Now, the camp runs from July 24th through July 28th, and it's called Geocaching and the Urban Get Around.
It sounds like a cover band for something.
It could be. It's a good band name.
Yeah.
It covers how to ride transit, find your way around the city, and get lots of exercise by hunting for geocaches. And, anything that involves transit, I think of Subway Mark. So maybe he'll come up and join the summer camp. He's
be a leader.
A little old for a middle schooler, but, hey, what the heck. There is more information available at the website smartycampseattle.com.
You smarty camp.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, that sounds like a fun thing for the middle school kids to do this summer.
No, it is not. Climax, it's not run by Subway Mark, but there's transit involved.
Yeah.
That typically tends to be trains or buses, and Subway Mark seems to get excited when things like that pop up.
Yeah, he's our first thought when it comes to transit.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, you know what? We just have no shortage of news stories tonight. I think that's most of the podcast here. All right. Well, you know what, folks? Geocaching has evolved, and so have geocachers. That's right. On May 2nd, there is going to be yet another souvenir to get. That's celebrating the 17th anniversary of the birth of geocaching. Big Blue Switch souvenir. Remember a couple of years ago, they had the Big Blue Switch event. Well, they're doing it again.
Very cool.
Find any geocache or attend any event on Tuesday, May 2nd, 2017. That's Tuesday. That's not the weekend. That is midweek, May 2nd, 2017.
Don't go the week before. You're not going to get the souvenir.
And there's only one day. It's not a week.
Yeah, it's not a week, not a weekend, not a month.
No,
It is a day, and it is a midweek day. But you will earn a new digital souvenir. So that is Tuesday, May 2nd, Big Blue Switch Day. And I think most folks know what that's all about, but it's reflective of May 2nd, 2000, when the U.S. government discontinued selective availability and GPS became more useful. So
one of the only good things to ever come out of the Clinton administration.
there you go.
And as Brylang points out, you get a souvenir and you get a souvenir. And yes, you get a souvenir.
Thanks, Oprah.
Oh, and Limax wants to find a big blue question mark.
Oh, I
on
like
Big
that.
Blue Switch Day.
That's clever.
I think it's cool that it's on the 17th and it's the 17th anniversary. So, no, it's not the 17th. Tuesday, May 2nd. Never mind.
Yeah.
2017.
Your geocache guy wants to know
2017.
why we can't
17th.
find caches at the Big Blue question marks. All right.
And really, after that Big Blue Switch was thrown, everything here in the Northwest exploded.
Well, yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, not exploded, took off.
Yeah.
This whole
D.B. Cooper walked out of the woods and everything. It was like, come on.
Did he really? Yeah, he knew he couldn't hide any longer.
There you go.
Oh, there's a town they believe D.B. Cooper lives in, and they throw a festival every year for him there.
Yeah.
He's going to show up one time.
That's pretty crazy.
Maybe he already has. You don't know.
No, I love the Northwest because things get busy here in the summer.
They do.
Yeah. We have lots of news.
All right, that is a lot of news. And hey, you know what? That reminds me, folks. If you have any events coming up that you'd like to have featured on this podcast and our cashingnw.com website, well, just make sure to email us with the event GC code, the date, the time, and the location. Send that to feedback@cashingnw.com, or hey, use the voicemail tool on our website and send us a voice message directly. Well, if you get us that GC code, date, time, and location of your event, then we will include it on our cashingnw.com major-northwest-events page, as well as it'll get a special mention on this very podcast. Well, not this particular episode because we can't time travel yet. But
Well, that's an episode on the podcast.
hold on.
Oh.
Hold on. Wait. No, we're not time traveling yet.
Okay.
Okay, if we do, come back right here at this point in time.
That's
yes.
right.
If one of us invents time travel, come back right now.
Well, that was disappointing.
Yeah, never mind.
Next.
So there you go. But you know what? If you got an
What?
event, or you know of an event that isn't on that page there yet, yeah, let us know. We'd love to list it.
Well, Monkey,
Yes,
you have been busy,
we have.
and you've done milestones.
About our neck.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, tell us about this, because you've done a huge milestone. I mean, you know, something that other cashers may aspire to one day, if ever.
Yeah, we did find our 10,000th geocache a couple weeks ago.
Wow. That's just truly impressive. So,
Well, thank you.
Now you talked about Jasmer, and technically, if you're just starting out, isn't any cache a Jasmer grid find?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
The fewer caches you have found, the easier it is to fill Jasmer spots.
now for you guys, you have found, 3 metric tons of geocaches, or
Well, the metric system had to add another unit of measure to keep
yeah,
track.
exactly, some conversion thereof. First off, where exactly did you guys go for this one?
So we went to the Southwest. We went caching in the Southwest.
What?
What? Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, you're off the podcast.
All right, bye. All right, yeah. So what we did is we actually flew from Bellingham down to Las Vegas, just because Las Vegas was cheaper flights to get in there.
Yeah.
Picked up a rental vehicle. We got a Kia Soul.
Hmm.
And actually, I got to say, I was pretty impressed with that for my road trip.
I have rented one and then been impressed as well.
Yeah. So there you
You
go.
both can rent a soul.
Hmm.
Yes. I had rented
Okay.
Soul for a week. So we picked that up, got our butts out of Las Vegas as quickly as we could, drove to Phoenix, and technically we actually drove to Tempe,
Mhm.
Arizona, stayed there. On our way there, we stopped in Boulder City, Nevada. We also stopped in a little, not a ghost town because it is active. People are actually living in the town, but it's not really much mining going on there anymore. It's called Chloride, Nevada. We stopped there. There's a
Great
geocache
name.
there.
Mhm.
It's kind of a very cool virtual. So that one's definitely worth stopping at. And we also stopped at the town of Wickenburg, Arizona, where there was another virtual and a couple multis.
Now-
and-
I have to interject. Just
Yep.
It's purely personal to me. Sorry to detract things. As many frequent listeners, and you guys know, I often chaperone 8th grade students to Washington, D.C. in the spring. And in fact, our school 8th grade students are there this very week. I just did not travel on the trip this year.
So he could be on the podcast.
Well,
was
yeah,
the main
it's
reason.
the
Yeah.
sacrifices I made for you. Last year,
yes.
we traveled to Washington, D.C. the last week of April. So, roughly a year ago. And we were joined with another school because sometimes small groups are combined to fill a tour bus. The school that we were joined with was from Wickenburg, Arizona.
Really?
Yeah. So a year ago, I had never heard of Wickenburg, and now I have 2 things to associate with it. So there you go.
You know, we can add a third if you'd like.
We could.
Limax says, Wickenburg. That's where the ant rustlers are.
Okay.
There you go.
Did not know that.
Yeah,
But anyway.
the well-known ant rustlers of Wickenburg, Arizona. Okay.
Okay,
Land Monkey, go
yeah.
ahead.
Sorry to detract there. Go or,
Oh, no,
detour.
that
Please
was
go
quite
ahead.
interesting. That's a neat little convergence there. So yeah, those were our stops on our way into Tempe. That night when we arrived, we actually stopped in downtown Phoenix and did a number of virtuals. There's about 4 or 5 virtuals that are all on a very easy walk in the town center in Phoenix, the city center in Phoenix, and they're quite interesting virtuals. So that's definitely worth doing if you're heading that way. Then the next day was Senda de Tonto, and then we went to the Fountain Hills Park and Papago Park. So those are all things definitely I would say are worth doing when you are in the Phoenix area.
I love it. So obviously you flew into Las Vegas. In order to get your numbers up, you hit several of the power trails on the way out, right?
No, we had actually gotten our numbers very, very close to 10,000 before we headed down. So we only needed, I think, another 10 cache finds before we hit 10,000. So we didn't hit any power trails. The power trails really weren't the purpose of this trip. This trip was really way more focused on virtuals, earth caches, and caches with high favorite points. So we were kind of really trying to single out really interesting places to go and visit on this trip.
So now you have found so many earth caches that you actually have to take a flight to go find more.
Well, no, there's still quite a few in the Northwest, but
Okay.
I have to tell you, I very intentionally am now leaving earth caches that come up within a short drive of my home because International Earth Cache Day is still just a single day, and it's often occurring on Thanksgiving in Canada. So that sucks.
Well,
Therefore,
don't feel too bad about it. The whole entire Earth only got a day, and yet sharks get an entire week.
yeah, right. I know.
So
For our audio only listeners, let me tell you about the sadness in Land Monkey's eyes when he is saying this. It's actually a sadness mixed with anger. And I got a little scared looking at him when he was talking about Earth Day as one single day, when Cito gets a week.
yeah.
Yeah, what's up with that?
But anyway, Land Monkey, let's go back. let's go back to the Southwest. It's
Let's go back to my
warm.
happy spot. Okay.
There are new earth caches to find.
There were lots of earth caches to find. We could not. We actually had to pick and choose what earth caches we were going to go for because there were so many. But it was good. It was all good. All right. So yeah, we opted out of the power trails. I gotta say, one of the places we visited in the general Phoenix area was Papago Park, and it is a total hotspot for geocaching. It is quite central to the Phoenix area, and I would say it's a must-visit place for geocachers. There's a few earth caches. I think there's at least a single virtual in there, but there's a lot of very high favorited caches right in that park. So it's definitely a great place to visit.
And
yeah,
more than fathers can wander this park.
yes,
At Papago.
yes,
Yeah.
Mama can go, kids can go, everybody can go.
Everybody can go. Okay. It's a whole family can go.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. Hey, you know what? Another thing that we saw when we were there, not in Papago Park, it was actually a little ways away from there, but we saw a cache. Then we did the sort on Project GC for high favorites, and when we did that, we used the what do they call it? There's an algorithm that they use that's not just high favorite points, but it's got
Yes. I know the algorithm of which you speak, but I cannot come up with the name.
right. Well, maybe
Don't worry, it'll pop up in the chat here in just 30 seconds.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So anyways, I used that algorithm, found a lot of our favorites that we wanted to go after based on that, because basically what that algorithm does. So if you're planning a road trip, I would definitely say use Project GC to look for the highest favorites, because what it does is it doesn't just look for who has the most favorite points. It actually ranks that against how many, sort of a percentage of favorite points over total number of logs, but it has a few other aspects of the algorithm that I can't remember off the top of my head that make it.
Yeah, the
super accurate.
percentage of favorite points to finds is important.
So it's like caches of coolness.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, and Dora Moore said that they found several caches in Papago Park as well. Her favorite was Rocket Man. That was our favorite in the park as well. That's I won't spoil too much for it, but I am pending a message back from the CO to ask if I can feature it in an upcoming
Oh.
video.
Four out of
Burning
five.
on the fuels of Heaven Zone.
Yes.
4 out of 5 Canadian cachers who favored caches in Papago Park favorite Rocket Man.
And dentist too. Yep.
Yes, of course.
All right. So
And sugar-free gum.
one of the other really cool caches that this algorithm indicated we should go check out is a TB hotel. It's a multi-cache. I gotta say, it is the single coolest TB hotel multi-cache I have been to yet. It's GC45CZX. It's called Deputies Bring In Those Travel Bugs. And you just got to check out that cache. It is so well done. It's awesome. So I really encourage people, if you're planning to travel down there, definitely do that cache. Yeah, again, I don't want to spoil too much of it right now.
That seems like kind of a unique combination. I don't want you to spoil it either, but it just strikes me as unusual to be a travel bug hotel and a multi. Usually they're just conventional hides to make them easy to find.
So, okay, so I'll tell you what, they really worked that SouthWest theme. And you start at a public park where there's actually a horse corral. And when we were there, there was a young lady who was actually working with horses in the corral while we were there, which was kind of cool. Then from there, you get a set of coordinates that take you. So it's only 2 stops, but the 2 stops are, you have to drive between them. It's a long walk. When you get to the second stop, you're in a location. I won't give too much away, but you're in a location where you're like, you're kind of double guessing. Like, did I get these chords right? Like something doesn't quite feel right here. But then when you find the cache, I think there's a number of pictures of the cache on its cache page.
I'm looking at it now. It is incredible looking container at the final.
Basically, the owner has made a Old West style jailhouse, quite large, and hanging off the front of it is what appeared to me to be a very authentic antique combination lock that you, at the first waypoint, you get the combo for it. And that's how you open up the cache. But everything was just very authentic and well themed and fun, and just definitely, that's one of those caches where I go, oh, I can only give 1 favorite point.
Yeah, you ought to be able to give more, it seems sometimes.
Yeah. But anyways, so that was that one. Definitely worth visiting.
Very cool. Well, now I want to go just to visit that one cache because I love multis. I think they're cool. So those are all in the greater Phoenix / Tempe area.
Yep.
Where did you go after that?
Well, after that, we headed north, headed up to the Grand Canyon, had a few stops on the way, but we did make it there for the afternoon. And have either of you guys been to the Grand Canyon?
Yes, I have been to the Grand Canyon. We did it as a family road trip just before geocaching.
Okay.
And it was one of those things. We were going to meet my parents, I believe, in Texas. And did we? No, we did the Grand Canyon on the way back. We skipped it. And we knew we wanted to see it at sunrise or sunset. And we were there at sunset and saw it. And we're like, you know what? We're finding a hotel. We're going to stay here another night or another day. We need to come back. It was that spectacular.
Wow. Yeah, I grew up in Southern California, which is the Grand Canyon is a popular destination for many Southern California residents. And I've never been there. Unless you count Circle Vision 360, and bonus points for those of you in the podcast who know what Circle Vision 360 is. Or, of course, the scene from National Lampoon's Vacation when he robbed the till. Otherwise, for other listeners, if you haven't been, here's some things to know about visiting the Grand Canyon. First, if it's shoulder or busy season, well, it's busy. Categorize that as freaking busy. in all caps. Second, well, it is truly grand in every sense of the word. It's freaking huge. Don't look at the geocaching map and think to yourself, yeah, we can get all those caches today. No, that's the word. No. And the third thing I have to say is just take it all in. Enjoy your visit. Someday, I hope to enjoy my visit there. Take 100, take 1,000, take 1,000,000 photos, because nowadays in digital, you can do that. Take those photos that your friends and family back home will think, well, that all looks the same. What's the big deal? It's a big freaking hole in the ground. So what? Yeah, you haven't been there, dude. Okay? I've been to the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, not the same. And of course, as Chris of the Northwest mentioned, if you can be there for sunrise or sunset.
Or both.
Sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset. Oh,
Very
never mind.
There you go. And we managed to be there for sunset, and it was definitely worth it.
Nice.
I think I've shared before, but I think kind of the key thing for us is we learned some interesting stuff. So first of all, there's a shuttle bus that goes out of the nearby town that can take you in, and then they actually have an entire shuttle bus system running up and down through the park. You know what? Why don't we do another show another time where we can just talk about the Grand Canyon, because there's so much useful information I learned about that park and the U.S. parks in that area that I can share. But I guess
because my only experience is like the Brady Bunch on mules.
Mhm. You can ride mules down there.
you can still do that, yes.
Okay.
But you have to plan ahead for that kind of stuff. But anyhow, we were lucky because we actually managed to be there for the sunset, and it's again, it's one of those things. I took a bunch of photos, but there's just words can't really capture this whole thing, this whole sensation of standing there over the huge, enormous expanse of the Grand Canyon and just watching the sun work its way down pretty fast, and then all of a sudden, boop, gone. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was enough that it was like, hey, you know what? We're adding an extra day to our trip just to spend another day here. This is amazing. My daughter and I walked down into the canyon, and it's an hour or so. I mean, not we're not going to hike the entire length, but it's like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's get down there. And I was surprised. It was warm up top. It was cold once you descend into the canyon.
Yeah, that's quite the descent. Good for you guys.
Yeah, it was fun. We enjoyed it. Well, I still have memories of it. So it seems to have worked.
There you go.
So I mean, now we could talk about the Grand Canyon for the rest of the show and another show or two, but where else did you go? We're going to stop talking about the Grand Canyon. We're going to move on because you saw more than just the Grand Canyon.
We did. The very next day after the Grand Canyon, we had booked a tour of Lower Antelope Canyon. If you follow us on Instagram and Twitter at LandMonkeyGC, you will definitely have seen some of our amazeball pictures of the Lower Antelope Canyon. And there'll be more coming out on our social media. We were trying not to spam it all at once and kind of pace it out a little bit. But I guess the best way if you don't know where I'm talking about, obviously Google it and you'll see. But when you see these photos that people post of either themselves or just of the sandstone, and it's like it's a narrow slot canyon with these wiggly walls and just amazing color range on the walls, it's probably Antelope Canyon. If you are interested in going, I believe the only way you can get into Antelope Canyon is through a tour. It is on Navajo land, and I believe the only way in there is through the booked tours. I would highly recommend Ken's Tours. The booking online was really straightforward and easy, and the people there were awesome to work with. So there was an amazing tour experience through there. They don't rush you through. I mean, they do keep people moving because there's a lot of people there, and we were just at the tail end of shoulder season, so it was busy, but it wasn't crazy. But Ken's Tours, check it out.
Nice. This episode of Caching in the Northwest brought to you by Ken's Tours. Now, we've talked almost an hour on this episode,
Yeah, we have.
and you still haven't mentioned that this entire trip was to go to Utah. You haven't made it to Utah yet.
That's right. Well, that's where we headed next after we
Okay.
visited Antelope Canyon. We tackled in about 4 days all southern 12 counties. That allowed us to partially complete the Visit Utah Geo Tour.
Wait, partially complete? 4 days, 12 counties?
Yeah, partially complete. So kind of the goal of getting into Utah was to work on this Geo Tour. And folks, next week, the Visit Utah Geo Tour folks are going to be on this very podcast. So we're not going to talk too much about the Geo Tour tonight,
Okay.
because next week we actually have the Visit Utah Geo Tour folks on the show. We'll talk about it in a lot more detail then. But to complete the Visit Utah Geo Tour, you have to visit all 29 counties. But we got all 12 of the larger counties, which are across the south. So that's why partially complete.
So you blasted across 12 counties in 4 days. And I know when I try to find geocaches on vacation time, my family accuses me of detracting from vacation. Did you get any time to actually enjoy Utah, or did you just, blaze your way across all these counties just so you could find a few caches from the Geo Tour and put more notches in your belt?
Well, obviously the Geo Tour does bring you to great locations. And again, we'll talk about that in the next episode. But we did see some really great places that we wouldn't have otherwise planned to visit. That the Geo Tour brings us. So that was pretty cool. They've really planned that Geo Tour out well. They take you to a number of state parks and national historic sites.
So we've mentioned several times, Utah Geo Tour is next week's show, so we're not going to spoil any of that right now.
Okay.
Did you spend any time in Utah outside of the Visit Utah Geo Tour cache sites?
Yeah, we did. Right on our first entry into Utah, we went up and spent a good half a day. So when I'm saying 4 days to hit 12 counties all across the south. Now these are big counties in the south part of Utah. And it wasn't a straight line, just doing, okay, we can just drive through 12 counties in a straight line. You're driving all over the place to find these caches, right? So you're hitting a whole bunch of different parks and down some dirt roads and everything. It's quite the trip. But we spent a good half day in Arches National Park, and that you can experience Arches National Park well in a half day if you get a nice early start in the morning, but you could easily spend a full day there as well, or longer.
Yeah.
But what we did is we went right up to the northernmost part of the park that you can drive to, and hiked out to the most northern earth cache in the park, which is 00 Arch. It's a pretty good trail out to that. It's a little bit of a intermediate trail in some spots, but it was a lot of fun. Visited Landscape Arch. So for 00 Arch, it's a GC2 Victor Zebra 0 Tango. So there you go. I had to pause there because I don't have the cheat sheet up on my screen. Then we visited Landscape Arch. We went to the Windows section, not sponsored by Microsoft.
Okay.
Of the park. I just thought I'd beat you to that one, Wits End. All right. Also visited 00 Arch and Park Avenue. It's another little section of the park that we saw. So, we got to see some really neat.
It's on the Monopoly board.
That's right. We visited numerous other state and national parks, as I said, throughout the southern Utah, but I got to say that we are planning at least 2 more trips to Utah. Another trip is going to be back to the southwest of Utah because we didn't really get into the areas we would like to have in Bryce Canyon, Grand Escalante, and Zion parks. So those 3 are definitely for a future trip to really spend some time and check those areas out. Yeah,
Bryce and Zion and Arches actually are on my wish list of places to go someday. Really want to get out there sometime. And folks, when Land Monkey says they're intermediate, that means he was only able to jog 90% of the trail instead of the entire trail. So
Yeah.
for those of us listeners, podcast hosts, and other people involved with this that might want to take a similar trip, what advice can you offer us?
Well, I guess the number one thing is allow enough time. There is a lot of driving involved if you want to tackle that Visit Utah Geo Tour. One day alone, we hit over well over 800 kilometers.
Mhm.
So, you got to plan to have the adequate amount of time. We plotted it out in advance. We managed to mostly stick to the schedule, so that was good. But there were a few long days on the road in Utah. Plan time either at the end or in the middle of your hashtag geocache road trip to really relax and take things in. These parks are unlike anything else I've seen that we have here in the Northwest. They're just amazing, just spectacular. And hey, if you're an avid earth cacher like myself, plan out those earth caches in advance. Do a little bit of reading and try and send your answers in the evenings at your hotels so that they're still fresh in your mind and that you don't queue up with 30 earth caches to have to answer by the time you get home.
What else are you going to do on the airplane?
Yeah, sleep.
Some beautiful, beautiful territory in Utah.
It really is. We think the Northwest is beautiful, and it is the most beautiful area of the country, but Utah,
Different kind of beautiful.
Yeah. Well, and it's
Utah
crowded
is-
here. Utah only has one resident for every 100 square miles, I think.
It's probably true.
Something like that.
If you just get around the cows grazing out there, you can see some great things.
They're
So,
over the cows. Yeah.
Land Monkey, we're going to talk more about that Geo Tour next week. We're promising that. We're going to deliver. Guys, stay tuned
Nice.
next week to learn more about this Visit Utah Geo Tour.
Nice. All right. Well, you know what, dear listeners, it's also time for a little Caching NW clickbait. That's right. We're going to tell you guys what's coming up in the next few weeks on
Do tell.
Caching NW. As we've already said, and we're going to say at least once more, May 4th is episode 197, and that is the Discover Utah Geo Tour. We will have folks from the Discover Utah Geo Tour on this very podcast to share with you about that Geo Tour. The following week, May 11th, that's episode 198, we'll have geocaching.com talking about cache number 3 million and lists versus pocket queries. So we will have Rock Chalk and Ben of Ben and Jamie.
Very nice. I've got some bones to pick with Ben, but that's a couple of episodes down the line there.
Sounds like we're approaching a big number there.
Yes, May 18th, we're still working out a guest for. May 25th will be our 200th episode. Can you believe it?
200?
Yes, 200.
What?
I don't know what could be involved with episode number 200.
Guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to determine which guests we're going to have on and have them not understand what's going on while we do the episode. And then finally, the 1st of June.
Yes.
June
We're
the
going to
1st.
be June the 1st. We're going to be talking with one of our favorite guests, Terry Hadwin of Gold Country.
Awesome.
Very
So,
cool.
folks, until next week, where can our fine listeners and even some viewers find you out on the interwebs?
Well, I'll tell you what, fine listeners and viewers, and even listeners and viewers who aren't fine, coarse ones, they can find us Land Monkeys at landmonkey.blogspot.ca. That's our website. But you know what? It's probably easiest. Just follow us on Twitter, Instagram at LandMonkeyGC. Or if you prefer Facebook, we're Team Land Monkey. And of course, always encourage you to come and check us out on YouTube, where now those episodes from that hashtag geocache road trip have started to go up there, and search YouTube for Land Monkey. How about you, my friend, Wits End?
Well, dear listeners and podcast hosts, if you are looking for fascinating and interesting content, head on over to landmonkey.blogspot.ca. If you want to be bored out of your gourd, go to witsend.us. Follow me on Twitter at witsend or Facebook at witsend or geocaching.com. I'm witsend. And Chris of the Northwest, sir.
Well, I don't have a blog. So I use things like Twitter, which is a microblog. You go to CachingNW. Facebook.com/CachingNW. Of course, Google Plus. Who doesn't use Google Plus anymore? Google.com/plus CachingNW. Or head on over to CachingNW.com/hosts and read about our bios and find all those links that we just mentioned.
Oh, yes, we did. And for everyone else, and for everyone, even ever included or not, we want to thank you. Yes, thank you, and you, and you, and thank even you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. You can be part of the show. Call 253-693-TFDC. Leave us a comment. Ask us a question. Flip our switch. Anytime, day or night. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Also, your support helps to keep quality shows coming. If you like this show, if you like the show, click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website. This show right here is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2017 by Chris Umpenar. And now stay tuned. There's a little thing here we like to call the after show. Yeah, that.
Yeah, we like to call it that. Lime Access. Oh, man, I thought we had frozen.
Let it go. Let it go.
Oh.
Are we having fun yet?
Oh, you can't imagine the amount of fun we're having. Hey, Wet Coaster wants to know. He's already FATASed. Do you know what FATAS is? That's the hashtag we like to use in the chat. It stands for the after show.
Oh, is that what
FTAS. Yes, if you see it, that's what it means.
So if you're one of the cool kids who joins us live in the chat.
Yeah.
And all the cool kids do.
And you know what? I would encourage people that even if you're not live in the chat, even if you like to listen to this podcast afterwards, whether you're
in a tanning bed
or listening to it in a tanning bed, at the bus stop, bobbing your head, wherever you're listening to this, if you have something that you want us to talk about in the after show, hey, any of that social media connection information we gave you, our Twitter feeds especially, send us a message, hashtag FATAS.
Yeah.
We'll try and make sure we get it in the next after show.
We'll talk about it in the Future Theater Adrift Airlift Study or the Fast Time Analyzer System.
That's what it is.
Federal Telecommunications Access Service, or as Google tells me, the familial testicular agenesis syndrome.
I was thinking future technology and science.
Okay.
I think Wits End had it with the last one.
Okay.
That was Google. I take no credit.
There's words we cannot say again.
That's why we have a research department.
So Wet Coaster says, hashtag FATAS, on Project GC. Do you remember we put out that question?
Yes.
Top favorite caches. It's the lower bound of the Wilson score.
Thank you very much.
Wilson score.
Remember that. Wilson.
Okay, neighbor.
Heidi ho, neighbor.
I see. You guys went to that. I went to, what was it? Castaway, the Tom Hanks movie?
Oh, yeah.
Wilson.
Well, first I thought of Mr. Wilson from Dennis the Menace, but
wow. Throwback.
Yeah.
All right.
That's how we fish.
You got any audio?
Yes. Okay. Now, we put out a challenge to one particular listener.
We did. I think that was at an event, was it not?
I was going to say it's almost 3 weeks ago now. He responded very quickly.
Yes,
but because of last week's a little gotcha, I really wanted this snafu. Yes. I really wanted this to be on a live after show and not one that was mostly Memorex. So we have B Pendragon. We kidnapped him and brought him here. No. We saw him at an event and he was going to go to a Mariners game.
Yes, the very next night.
The very next night. Now, the Mariners have something that's unique in the world of baseball. Wits End, do you want to talk about this?
Well, it's a snack food item, high in protein and, well, quite delicious, I'm told. You know, outside of the United States, insects are consumed as a food item pretty regularly. And, well, now you can take part in that tradition right here at Safeco Field. It may be the only interesting thing to come out of this year's Mariners baseball season. I hope they turn things around. But right now, I'm hoping to go to Safeco primarily to take part in this and not necessarily to watch the game. No, I still watch the game.
You got to watch the game. Come on.
Of course I do. And garlic fries, but also this.
Let's listen to B Pendragon.
Okay.
So today we've got grasshoppers from Poquitos at Safeco Field. I've been told that these are not the chili lime ones, but these are taco seasoning because they run out of chili lime. Pretty small, but they're nothing but crunch, and they're amazing. It's like popcorn, like slightly overcooked popcorn, but not in the bad way, in the very crunchy way.
So there you have it. If you follow B Pendragon on Twitter, you can see this video as well. And he shows you there, you get a small cup of them, and they are very small, about the size of a half-popped kernel of popcorn, would you say?
Yeah.
There you go.
So there you go. Broncos fans for life says gross grasshoppers.
Well, that was interesting. And you know what, B Pendragon, thanks for stepping up to the challenge. That was fun.
That was fun.
Nope.
Not just some nope. All of the nope.
All the nope.
That's awesome.
And you can, of course, follow B Pendragon at twitter.com/the B Pendragon.
There you go.
I thought that was Thebe Pendragon.
Well, it could be.
Theb Pendragon. Okay.
I mean,
However,
really, we're talking grasshoppers that have been deep fried, in a commercial kitchen designed for people to eat. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
Go try them.
All right. Hey,
And they're all crunch, I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Do we have anything else? Hashtag FATAS tonight.
Broncos fans for life wants to know if Land Monkey finished all 29 counties, but we know that now not to be the case.
Right.
So no, not yet. But I will tell you that Mrs. Land Monkey is planning on finishing all 29 counties.
Nice.
What?
Yeah, that's how she rolls, man.
Oh, maybe they're not fried. They're dry roasted. So it's B Pendragon.
I was going to say the counties.
Yeah, the counties are dried roasted.
Delicious
I wouldn't feel
nonetheless.
like
I mean, it's hot down there.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. I switched gears without putting in a clutch. If you smell a little something, I apologize.
Burning the clutch on the show.
Yeah. I switched back to grasshoppers,
All right.
which you can also find in Utah.
I'm sure you can.
You could probably find them in all 29 counties in Utah.
Possibly.
Probably not necessarily prepared for human consumption, but you never know.
There you go.
You can't deep fry a county. They have to be baked or roasted.
Well, and quite a few counties in Utah are baked in the summertime. It can be very hot.
I'm going
out
to say
there.
quite a few counties in Washington State
Are baked.
Yeah,
It's the new laws.
that's a different kind of bake.
Oh, okay.
And most people here are only half baked.
Dude, where's my county? Yeah. All right.
Oh.
We
B Pendragon has been so kind as to post a direct link to the video.
there you go. All right. Well, I think we've sort of run through the hashtag FATAS for tonight. It's been a long show. Probably a good time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Folks, we appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you. And until next week, make sure you get out and you get caching in the Northwest.